All right, folks, welcome back to another episode of Ohio State Football with Scarlett and Great here on YouTube. We are back bringing you more action, as always, part of what we jokingly called our Bigger, Better, Bolder, Blacker series last week with Chris Drew, and it just fell this way. We're not doing this on purpose, guys. It's Brandon Moses. Corey would do this on purpose, but not me. Brandon Moses, B. Moses, 30. B. Moses, Sports Talk with B. Moses. If you guys probably say that name sounds familiar, Buckeye Sports Talk with B. Moses. You can find him with on Buckeye Scoop at different platforms there, and he has a robust Facebook channel and everything. Hey, Brandon, man, how's it been? Long time no see.
Man, it's been great, man. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, are you as excited as we are to kind of get closer to camp updates and all that kind of stuff and then get back into season?
Yeah, I mean, I was just saying to myself the other day, like, dang, Big Ten Media Days is creeping up quick. And that's when you know it's about to pop, with all the updates and fall camp and nuggets and, who's looking good and all the other stuff. So I'm definitely excited.
Yeah, when it's time to mow your grass a lot, that it's time that you're like, oh, yeah, I usually listen to the new Big Ten Media Day updates while I'm mowing my grass. Everybody does it, right? That shows our age, right? Everybody's dad life now. You're mowing your grass and listening to Big Ten Media Days. But so we're going to do two videos with you, Brandon. This first video,
yes.
I want to just get it. These are going to kind of generic, but I think there's so much unknown going into this season, and I like talking during those seasons, the unknowns. First, let's get into the offensive side of the football. There are a lot of things that I think we just, we don't know about, but I do think we can kind of start to formulate opinions, and I'm just interested in what you think in particular. I'm going to start with this. Where do you fall in the quarterback situation, and what's your level of optimism there?
Yeah, so well, it's a few things I want to quickly touch on. So I'm sure a lot of y'all who follow this podcast, Life of Buckeye podcast, you might have heard Zach and Chris's updates about Devin Brown and the excitement behind that. For the record, months ago, I basically said I was a Devin Brown fan. Like, I thought he had the higher ceiling, talent-wise, playmaking-wise. Not a knock on McCord, but I just thought Devin Brown was that dude potentially. So, I'm not saying that means he's gonna start now, and we'll see. But I definitely was in agreement with a lot of what they were saying about Devin Brown. With that said, I'm not on board with this overreaction from some of our fans because Kyle McCord didn't look absolutely phenomenal in the spring game, as if he's just trash. That's how some of our fans been talking. Kyle McCord was a 5-star for a reason. He has a big arm. He hasn't shown me anything in games, even though they weren't meaningful games, that he was, not capable of getting better and being a really good quarterback. And, of course, we have Ryan Day and Corey Dennis. I'm not worried about quarterback, y'all. That's pretty much the bottom line. Is he going to be, all-world or even CJ Stroud? Maybe, maybe not. But he doesn't have to be with all the weapons we have. And that's kind of where I land on this, is that I'm really not worried about it. I'm curious to see how good he can be, but I'm not concerned really about the quarterback position.
Yeah, and I think you brought up a good point. I think myself included – got a little spoiled by seeing past quarterbacks like Dwayne Haskins and Justin Fields, how quickly they seem to assimilate. And then I was like, why is it taking CJ so long? But then that might just have been the norm, because when he matured, and it was there. So do you think people need to, one, realize Kyle McCord's spring game is a glorified practice with backups, hodgepodge? It's just coaches don't care about your entertainment in the spring game. They don't. It's a practice where they're trying not to get anybody hurt. So do you think, one, people need to realize that, and two, to think, hey, let's not compare him to CJ Stroud game 30 on his first day, or Justin Fields game 20, or he didn't have that many, Justin Fields game 10 on his first day, so much against, give him. I always say it's going to take 4 games. It's going to take 4 games to get comfortable. Do you think fans need to realize, hey, don't compare a guy at the beginning of his journey to a guy at the end?
Of course. I mean, but again, listen, man, on my platform, I'm preaching all the time, trying to bring some balance and sanity just for your own mental health. Because some fans are just they just go too far with it. But absolutely. I mean, listen, remember Justin Fields had a poor spring game? Remember that? I remember some fans on their message boards were just, they were pounding the table of how Justin Fields sucks and he's not going to be good at Ohio State. How'd that work out? You know what I mean? Like, you're absolutely right. It's a hodgepodge in the spring game. They want you to get those reps in front of 100,000 or 70,000 people on TV to get that experience. But there's going to be occasionally a backup guard next to a starter and a third stringer. Like, you can't make a full judgment off of that in the spring game. So please take that as a morsel of wisdom to carry with y'all so you don't spaz out and overreact every time you see something like that.
I can't agree more. And then here we go. I want to touch on this. The biggest point, I think, I should say, if you had a level of concern, I would say, okay, you're not crazy. You're not a miserable person. And that is about the offensive line. And I'm not saying they're going to be bad. But is it fair to say, hey, maybe there's concern? And you're a guy you're never a sky is falling guy ever. I think we could be 0-6, and Brandon would be good at bringing us all back to earth and being like, listen, RELAX. But you're a level-headed guy on this. Do you have a little bit of concern on O-line?
Yeah, I do have a little bit of concern. And as a side note, no, if we were 0-6, it would be everybody panic. Like Will Ferrell, I think the movie with Andre 3000, what is it? The basketball movie. Everybody panic with the bear loose. Mm-hmm. Yes, I would not be it's okay guy. But anyway.
Be a B Moses we've never seen before.
Bruh. I'll be somewhere on the side of the building, having somebody convince me why I should stay. So yes, I have a concern. So here's the deal. I'm glad you brought this up, and hopefully I don't go too far into the bag. You can stop me if I do. But I have a concern, but the schedule sets up to kind of curve my concern. If we were coming out the gate at Notre Dame, for example, I would have a little more anxiety. Last year, we did do that. We started out, at home against Notre Dame. But at Indiana is a lot more reasonable. I mean, it's a Big Ten game, but as far as breaking in the O-line, I can see us really focusing on RPOs, heavy run attack, even some 12 personnel packages, play action, getting McCord's feet under him, really pounding the running game. Anybody who follows football knows it's much easier for offensive linemen to fire off the ball and get the run game going, as opposed to breaking in 2 new tackles on an island against good opponents. Mm-hmm. So my concern is there, but the schedule sets up this year to where I'm not as concerned as I could be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's perfectly reasonable. And then going forward, these young coaching changes, right? You're looking at Brian Hartline, probably, most certainly taking an increased role. I don't think he'll be calling every single play game one, but it's going to be a transition. Obviously, I would think Corey Dennis at some point has an increased role in whatever that is. Justin Fry, an increased role. So do you have faith in these young guys that they can figure it out with Ryan Day in a new role as literally the CEO and not just the chief offensive game planner?
Yes, I do have a lot of confidence for a few reasons. It's one thing if you're breaking in a new coordinator who doesn't have the head coach who is an expert in that same area to fall back on as a safety net. That's exactly what Brian Hartline has, y'all. Let's not pretend like Ryan Day is not going to be on that headset listening, or at least involved in the play calling to some standpoint. And listen, I don't have any inside information on that, but logically, I'm thinking that Ryan Day will still be involved. And then as Hartline earns more and more the trust, then the leash can be, extended. So that safety net for the genius, well, some people won't agree, but Ryan Day at his best is brilliant. We can agree with that. Mm-hmm. That's a safety net. I'm not worried about that. Justin Fry. Now, remind me, isn't there is he kind of taking over the run coordinator part of the coaching? Is he giving some more influence with that?
That is the only way I think it makes sense, given that he had that role, I believe, at UCLA, and exactly. Knowing that the trajectory he was on at Ohio State before kind of we had to do this with Brian Hartline because of the stud that he is. I don't see how he wouldn't be, for sure.
Okay, yeah, and I was thinking the same thing. So, yeah, he has experience in that. I mean, he did well with Ryan Day back at Boston College in that role. So, not worried about that. And also, I don't think you mentioned it. Maybe you did, the tight end coach position being taken over by remind me. I'm drawing a blank. Ryan Stanford.
I'm blanking on. Yeah, I'm blanking on it too. But yeah, he was just slid over because of I know Key. Is it Coach Key sliding down to there, right?
Yes. So yeah, I was gonna say with that as well, that I don't have as much I can't point to a track record per se, but I know the recruits and the players and listen to the interviews, they love him. Like they love him and they love what he's doing recruiting wise and coaching wise. So to me, if you hear directly from the players, that lets me know like he's on a good track. So they're surrounded by a lot of resources and great minds to fall back on and experience. So I really don't have any concerns with the young coaches.
All right. Well, Brandon, just give us a quick synopsis on how you think the offense will look overall as a whole going into the 2023 season. And then when you're done with that, just go ahead and let them all know where they can find you and find your content.
Definitely. So what I envision, and I'm kind of hoping, but I also think it may happen. I think we may at least in the first half of the season come out with a 2019 type of, look. Remember in 2019, and it kind of annoys me when people say, well, Ryan Day hates to run the ball. I don't think he hates to run the ball. You know what I mean? Like 2019, we ran the ball like a lot with J.K. Dobbins. Our line was dope, and we ran a lot. And so I think we're going to lean on the run more because not just because Kyle McCord is young, but because we have the deepest backfield that I can remember in my Buckeye fandom. If you really think about it, I'm not saying talent-wise, we got Eddie George back there, but I'm saying the depth, 1 through 4, the potential is crazy, and I'm surprised nobody actually transferred. So I think we're going to see a lot more run attack, 12 personnel to set up the pass. Now, listen, I know we got great receivers. I think that's why I said half the season. I think eventually maybe we'll start opening up a little more, but I do think the first half of the season will be more of a 2019 type feel to the offense. So, yeah. And then you mention where they can find me.
Makes a lot of sense.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm on Facebook. I got a page on Facebook, Buckeye Sports Talk with B. Moses. A lot of great discussion there. I got a nice live following, fun stuff. I post funny memes and, I speak my mind and whatnot and provide some good content there. But also when I do my podcast, I upload them on the Buckeye Scoop YouTube platform. So if you want to hear more from me, you can go there and find me as well. Like and subscribe also on their podcast. I'm also on IG, Buckeye Sports Talk with B. Moses on Instagram, and B. Moses 30 on Twitter. Is where you can find me.
Fantastic. Make sure you do that, folks. And he is a funny meme maker. He has a special one reserved for the day we beat Michigan. I saw it, and I was hoping we got to break it out last year. we will hopefully get, and then maybe we have a little draft day spoof one that Brandon actually gave me permission to post, but I didn't. I think I'm waiting for a better day on that one. So we got some funny stuff. Hopefully we can celebrate in all kinds of ways with a Buckeye win this year. So we will see you guys. If you enjoyed this video, come back after this video airs at the most probably 48 hours, and we'll air video number 2. As always, goodbye, God bless, and go Bucks.